I don't like the term armchair magician. It's derogatory, and it suggests that its target should stop being an armchair magician. I see no harm in being interested in the hows and wherefores of magic without wanting necessarily to get involved oneself. I'm quite earnest when I say that if you want to spend the rest of your life only researching magic and never trying it out for yourself, who am I to tell you what you find fulfilling? You have my full support. That said, given the title of this video, if you're watching right now, there's also a chance that your curiosity has maybe grown far enough for you to have noticed a desire within you to take some cautious steps of your own, out of the armchair and into the realm of actual practical work. You're ready to start getting results. So today I'd like to propose a starting point for a short series of videos for some workings that anyone can do relatively safely. I say relatively safe in the same way that making toast is relatively safe. The dangers are few and obvious, and very easy to avoid. If the instructions say don't stick a knife in the toaster while it's working, well, just follow the instructions. Oh, and of course for any litigation sharks out there, you try these at your own risk, naturally. These are simply workings that have worked for me, and I recommend them to people who haven't yet developed an arsenal of protective techniques, which you should absolutely do, by the way, my usual recommendation being to start with a devastatingly effective sword banishing from Damon Brand's magical protection. So here's the first working that many people start with: basic Sigil Magick. Austin Osman Spare is credited with its invention, though there's no doubt that Grant Morrison was the one who made them as popular as they are today. And this form of magic involves no contact with any entities, which is probably why it's considered to be so safe. Sigils have existed for as long as magic has, usually to call entities, but in this version, instead of using the sigil of an entity, you create your own sigil. Then you activate it in the way I'm about to describe, and then the real work begins, but I'll get into that too. If you've already got experience with sigils, I hope you'll pick up a trick or two here anyway, and do leave any comment below if you have any examples that went well or badly, and anything else that you think might help someone making their first attempt with sigils. Step 1. Write your intention. The very first step in sigil crafting is coming up with a sentence. A sentence that describes the situation you wish to see manifest. Should be easy, right? Well, not necessarily. There are rules, and they're very sensible rules. Rule number 1, the sentence has to be written in the present tense. You're going to be sending this instruction to your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind is like the horses in front of a chariot. When the driver, so your conscious mind, is busy with something else, that is, most of the time, for most of us, the horses get to go wherever they like, and they usually go to the places they're familiar with, which is why it's so hard to break habits. If you can trick them into believing that they're familiar with a place that they're actually not used to, there's a better chance of them going there instead. So the sentence needs to be written in the present tense, because you're effectively writing a situation that you want your unconscious mind to consider to be its new normal. Let me give you an example. I see real live flamingos twice in the same week. When executed as if true by your unconscious mind, gets you in front of real live flamingos twice in the same week. I will see real live flamingos twice in the same week, however, puts you in the situation where you are constantly about to, but never quite do, get to see those flamingos. Seeing the flamingos always remains in the future, which is not what you want. That's your current situation. Rule number 2, never use I want. This is directly related to rule number 1. Your objective is not to want. Your objective is to be, to have, to do, to see, to experience, to achieve, not to want. Wanting implies you don't have, which may be true right now, but you're doing a magical working to get out of the current situation and into the situation you're describing. So your sentence should sound like you're looking into a crystal ball and describing the situation of future you. Not, I want to taste banana ice cream, but I am eating banana ice cream. Rule number 3, be realistic. Magic works by increasing odds of something happening. The unlikely situation becomes more likely. Not the impossible situation, there has to be a route. If your sentence is, I win the lottery, but you never buy lottery tickets, then the odds are 0. And if you multiply the odds by 1,000, which feels about right for this kind of magic, 1,000 times 0 odds is still 0 odds. Now let's say you start buying lottery tickets. The odds of winning the lottery are 1 in 14 million. Multiply your odds by 1,000, now you have 1,000 times more chances of winning the lottery, but that's still 1 chance in 13,000. It's still not likely enough. So you want to be aiming for outcomes that are believable. You need more money? Write your sentence about getting a pay rise, or for a job opportunity, or for inspiration for a side hustle, or a stock market tip, or an introduction to how the stock market works, or whatever you can conceive to be possible, but you just need an extra bit of luck for things to work your way this time. I can't emphasize this enough. This isn't Harry Potter. Sigils just put luck on your side, which is a tremendously powerful thing, with a little practice and a good idea of what its limitations are. It quickly becomes quite easy to then accumulate chains of smaller effects one after the other to get to where you want to be. Rule number 4, be as precise as you can in 7 words or fewer. Remember the fairy tales of tricksy sprites making wishes come true in ways that didn't benefit the hero, or in some cases even made the hero worse off? This is the mindset you have to adopt when writing your desired outcome. Now, Sigil Magick doesn't use spirit contacts. There are no wills involved other than your own. So if things pan out badly, it's not because it amused a pixie or whatever to see you suffering. It's because it was the shortest, easiest route to you getting what you asked for. So ask for things you really want, and don't expect the mindless process that will get you there to know what you really meant if it's not exactly what you wrote. Step 2. Turn your sentence into a sigil. So now you have your sentence, write it out fully in capital letters. And go through it letter by letter. If it's a vowel, cross it out. If it's a consonant that's appeared earlier in the sentence, cross it out. You'll be left with just a handful of consonants. Here's where you get to channel your inner artist. Use the letters to create an unrecognizable design. So just pick any of the letters, the first one's fine, draw it, and then add another letter onto that, and then another letter onto that. And you just keep going until you've added all the letters in one way or another, more or less recognizably, onto your design. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just add as you feel fit. Feel free to add little embellishments here and there, little squiggles, little circles, little triangles, wherever you think they might look interesting. And by this time you should already not be thinking about what your sigil means, but just about making it look nice. Once I have a design that I'm satisfied with, I always draw it out again a few times, simplifying it until it becomes just a few squiggles. And then when I'm fully satisfied that it looks like nothing, but it looks quite nice, then I put a circle around it. And I cut it out. Step 3. Charging the sigil. Grant Morrison got quite a bit of attention for suggesting that the way to charge a sigil is to be looking directly at it at the moment of sexual climax. In truth, it's any moment of conscious absence you're looking for. A moment when your consciousness shuts down temporarily, just for a few moments, to give way to unconscious reflexes. So during a short violent rush of adrenaline, a moment of great fear, a moment of meditative stillness, a moment of ecstatic appreciation for something beautiful, or even a sneeze. But yes, Grant Morrison's method definitely works too. Step 4. Destroying the sigil. Now you want the sigil to go away so that the intention that you put into it can be released, and the only place that energy remains is in your unconscious mind. Roll the sigil up into a tube, pop it into an empty jam jar or an ashtray or something that will safely contain a flame for about 30 seconds, and take it outside to set it alight. A little word of caution about fire and magic. Always assume that if there's a chance for something to catch fire when you use fire and magic, it will. Please take the necessary precautions when burning your sigils and never do it indoors. Enjoy watching the flames as you burn the sigil, and know that your intention is no longer on that piece of paper, but working within you already. Step 5. Think about something else. This is probably the hardest step. The point of burning the sigil is so that the intention can happily live in your unconscious, doing its job, like a little computer script running in the background, constantly on the lookout for little opportunities that are too small or remote for a conscious mind to notice, gently nudging you towards this decision or that decision to eventually make your requested situation a reality. Now, if you invite that intention back into your conscious mind, it's like a micromanaging team leader summoning a worker away from their workbench for a status update every 5 minutes. After a while, the worker doesn't even bother anymore because as soon as they get started again, they know the manager's just going to interrupt. However, just don't think about it is easier said than done. The best trick to work around this is that every time you find yourself wondering if the magic is working, just turn that into a reassuring narrative for yourself using gratitude. Something like, I'm so glad that little sigil's doing its job in the background, freeing my headspace up so that I can do whatever I can do on my side too. Now the results can be quite surprising. Do share your thoughts and experiences below in the comments. And while those results usually do make for interesting conversations with like-minded people, they can often alienate people who are not so close to this particular area of exploration in their own life. Remember that you're watching this video because you chose to click on the thumbnail, but it's likely that other people in your life may not have clicked on that thumbnail. I'd invite you to watch my video on keeping magic secret if you haven't watched it already. If you do find yourself wishing to talk to a like-minded community, however, the Foolish Fish Discord chat server is open to all members of my channel, and memberships start at just $2 a month. Just click on the little join button next to the subscribe button, or check out the link in the description to find out more. The instructions for how to join the Discord channel, once you're a member, is also there in the description. Do take a moment to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. That really helps these videos to get suggested to people who wouldn't normally think about checking this kind of video out, and whose life may be significantly improved by knowing a little trick like this one. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget to click the little bell button next to the subscribe button so that you get shown my videos on your YouTube homepage as soon as they're published. As always, my deepest gratitude goes out to every one of you for taking the time to watch, and especially to the members who make this channel sustainable. I can't tell you how much your generous support means to me. Thank you again, everyone, for your time, and see you very soon with another video.